on YouTube, you're gonna find hundreds of videos about how to perfectly cook a steak. They're gonna say things like, set it out to room temperature, season it 6 days in advance. We're gonna sear it to perfection and then butter based with herbs and fresh garlic, and it's gonna be delicious. Yes, those are all well and good, but what happens when more than one person wants to have a steak? Uh-oh, we got a problem. In this video today, I'm gonna show you how to make filet mignons for a crowd. It may be a holiday gathering, it could be a special occasion, whatever throughout the year, but you wanna make filet mignons for a group of people. Today, we're gonna show you how to make this happen efficiently, quickly, and it works perfectly every single time. Woo! All right, so here is our tenderloin. I got it from Costco. Let's get the details on how big this thing is. It is a USDA choice whole beef tenderloin. That's what you're gonna ask for. That's what you're gonna look for when you go to Costco. If you don't see it in the bins with all the steaks, go ask some of the butchers behind the counter, behind that glass wall, and say, hey, I'd like a whole beef tenderloin. And they're gonna have one for you. So it is $17.99 per pound. It is 8.72 pounds for a total cost of $156.87. And again, your prices are gonna vary around the country. I know a lot of people in the comments will say things like, oh, why do you pay that much? Oh, I wish I could get it for that cheap. Everyone across the country and really across the world, because we have viewership in other countries, savings is still the same. The customization is still the same. I love getting whole subprimal cuts when you can, because again, this is what we're here for. We're gonna learn how to break this thing down. So the first thing we're gonna do is kind of a little bit of orientation. We have the head and we have the tail. Right here in the middle, that's where all your good looking steaks are gonna come from. I'm gonna show you how to maximize how many steaks you can get out of here, because when you're cooking for a crowd, you need to have variety. You gotta have a couple thin ones, a couple thick ones. You're gonna have someone who likes it well done. So we're gonna have to accommodate for that. You're gonna have some that want medium rare and real nice ones in the middle. And I'm gonna show you how to maximize this piece of meat, because it's expensive. So I wanna make sure that I'm getting my money's worth. So let's start. We got the head, we got the tail. There is also a muscle that runs right along here that is called the chain. Okay, now it is just a piece of meat that we do not want, because it does not taste like tenderloin. So we're gonna remove that first and foremost. It's really easy to remove. You're just gonna use your fingers for most of it and find out where that separates, and then you're just gonna keep separating it. You might need to take your knife to help you a little bit. Remember, today and always, we are using the Butcher Wizard collection of knives. I got a breaking knife and a 6-inch boning knife, which is this one, coming soon, or if you're watching this in the future, is here already, link in the description. You can really see, like this skinny right here, this is not good fat, okay? This is not good. Like, if I grind this up, it's just gonna be chewy. So I'm not even gonna save it. All the fat we wanna save is from this hard fat, okay? And there's not that much on the tenderloin. It is very lean, so there's not that much. You can tell the difference between the hard fat and then the sinew. That does not look like good stuff. That's not gonna break down the way we want it. We're gonna move to the top of the tenderloin and kind of trim up some things. All right, so here's our tenderloin where the chain has been removed, and now I'm just gonna take some of this fat that's in between right here and here, this hard fat right here, and just score it with my knife and take it out nice and easy. Use the tip of the knife when you're doing this, because that's gonna give you the most control. Again, we're looking for hard fat, so if hard fat right here, like there's a little nodule right here in between, we got that hard fat, I can save that. Okay, we can save that in our edible waste pile, and then we can make that into ground beef. All right, now that we're here, our next thing we're gonna take care of is this silver skin. Now, silver skin is called elastin, and it is a connective tissue that does not break down ever. It is not good. We do not wanna have it on our steaks. Some of you have seen some of my other steak videos, and that is like my biggest pet peeve, is that people, like when you buy it from the grocery store, they leave this on there, and that's when you have that gristly, you can't eat it kind of texture to it, and you have to spit it into your napkin. That's where this is coming from. This has to be removed. We're gonna take our knife, you're gonna put it underneath the edge here and wiggle it underneath so you have a flap. See this flap right here? Now, You're gonna hold the flap with your non-dominant hand, you're gonna hold your knife with your dominant hand, and then you're going to put pressure, pull back with your left hand or your non-dominant hand, and I'm gonna angle my knife slightly upward, and that's gonna make it go nice and easy all the way down. You're using a very sharp knife, so we would love it to come up in one little piece just like that. No meat is wasted. That is just about perfect. We'll do it again. You wiggle the knife, make a handle, hold pressure, and then come back the other way. Boom. Again, this is a beautiful piece of meat, a very expensive piece of meat. We want to try to protect as much meat as possible so that we can have the most yield possible. Right here, our next challenge is this silver skin goes into this meat muscle right here. A lot of people will take this part off, the head cut off. I don't like to do that because I like to make my steaks go all the way down. If you take this off first, it makes a weird piece of meat that you can't really make steaks out of. I will go in between, and we're trying to save those pieces of meat right there. So again, handle, come down, but we're gonna go a little slower this time and cut in between these two muscles. So we gotta kind of V-cut this out. So we'll take this side of this silver skin and we'll take the other side and make a V cut out of it. You can definitely do this. It's just gonna take a little bit of practice. So you get underneath that V cut and then cut it all the way out. It's very simple. Just take it slow. Take it slow, sharp knife, all you need. And then you have this in between here, we've taken out the silver skin. So it's gonna be a nicer steak for your guests. So we'll flip this over. There's one more piece of silver skin on this subprimal cut, and it's right here. Okay, so we're gonna have to just do the same thing, get underneath, take your knife, slide it back. And it's on the underside. Again, nobody wants to eat this. I've turned it over, so now we're just gonna clean it up a little bit. If there's any sinew and this other thing. All right, now on the bottom, this is kind of an interesting debate. So these are kind of just fattier pieces. Now, it's super funny because when I worked in a steakhouse, they had you take a lot of this off. And then when you work in a butcher shop, they have you leave a lot of that on so that it weighs more. So it's just up to you. Do you want a little bit fattier cut of your filet? Then go ahead and leave it on. I like to take just a little bit off, just kind of even it out. It's gonna make for a nicer looking steak. Take one last look and just look for anything else that you can kind of clean up a little bit. All right, there we go. So there's our clean beef tenderloin. So now we're gonna portion our tenderloin out. So as it goes down, the two things we can kind of clean up, you take a little bit off of the top here, okay? And then we'll take the tail off. So now that we have our whole tenderloin that has been sectioned off here, now we're gonna start making steaks. Now, we gotta have a little bit of thought that has to go into making steaks. So as it's thicker right here, we're gonna have to account for that with the thickness of our cuts. So on this first cut, I make it a little big, okay? We're gonna go about, what is that, about 1.5 inches, you know, and make a cut here, and there is our first steak. Here is our first steak. This next cut right here is really wide. So we're gonna have to go a little thinner on that one. Maybe you just go 1 inch on that one, because that's gonna make a big, wide kind of steak like this, okay? I'm gonna do one more kind of thinner one. Again, because we're looking for, you're looking for about 6 ounces per person. Maybe your family likes a little bigger when you want to do 8 ounce or whatever. We want kind of just a nice, even looking steak. Again, we'll go a little thin on this one because it's so wide. And now that we're getting toward the end of this kind of just falls off. But again, because I didn't trim a lot of the bottom fat on there, so you have a little more intermuscular fat. We'll talk about this in a minute, but you might want to take this one to more well done or medium well. This little tail kind of just comes off eventually when you cut enough, so we're just gonna put that back in our pile. Now, some of y'all know I have a pretty hectic life. I got 4 kids, I got a wife, I got a dog. With all these relationships that I have, I don't always deal with each situation like I feel I should. And it really wears on me mentally sometimes. I really want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. It is probably past time for all of us to focus a little more on our mental health. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist that's there to listen and to give you unbiased advice. They have over 30,000 therapists in their network, so they got you covered. You can do your sessions by phone call, by video call, and even messaging services. To get started, click the link in the description and you get 10% off your first month. Next, you're gonna fill out a questionnaire to assess your specific needs. And then you'll get matched up with a therapist, in most cases, 48 hours or less. That's pretty quick. You can schedule your sessions when they work for you. And once you start your therapy sessions, if that first therapist just isn't a good fit, you can switch at no extra charge. BetterHelp has covered all the bases so that you can focus on your mental health, so you can be there for the people who depend on you. If you think you might benefit from therapy, go ahead and click the link below. It's betterhelp.com/butcherwizard, and you're gonna get 10% off your first month. I wanna thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now we are in the prime real estate of this beef tenderloin. Right here, this is the prime real estate. So we're going to make nice cuts all the way down. Boom. If you want to trim some of this off, go ahead. Again, if you want to keep it on, but that's just kind of up to you. Nice beef tenderloin steak right there. If you get one of these big ones, this is an 8-pounder, so it's really big. If you get a 6-pounder, it's gonna be kind of like this throughout the middle, so you'll be able to make a little thicker steak, but you're just gonna take each one as it comes, okay? I'm gonna show you how to cook it perfectly each time, so it won't even matter how thick the steak is, but boom, we're just gonna keep going. Another inch. Once we get here, the diameter is a little less, so we're gonna make them a little thicker. You know, I'm gonna kind of just cut it in half. We're gonna have some thick boys right here, and that's just how easy it is. You just cut this up and we're done. So here's what we ended up with. We got 11 really nice filet mignon steaks, ranging from about 6 to 8 to 9 ounces, somewhere around there. That's gonna be the perfect size and the perfect amount for our dinner party. So I can't wait to go ahead and get these going. Next, I'm gonna show you how to make a compound butter. So we're gonna get that prepared, and then I will show you how to cook these the easiest way that you'll ever cook a steak for a lot of people. So let's head to the next thing. Let's go to the compound butter recipe. All right, so next we're gonna make our compound butter. Now, compound butter is a fancy word for stuff mixed into butter. So we're gonna take some rosemary, some thyme. I'm gonna hit it with a couple shots of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, nobody can say that right, but who knows? And then I'm gonna mix it in with the butter, and then you're gonna have a nice piece of butter that's going to sit on top of these hot steaks as they get seared. It's going to add a great level of flavor to our tenderloins without having to make a complicated sauce. So it's really simple and you can make it ahead of time. So let's get to work. First thing we're gonna do, we gotta chop all these herbs up really, really fine. So it's gonna take a minute. All right, so in a bowl, I'm gonna put, this is about 10 ounces of high quality butter here. We say we got about 3 or 4 tablespoons of herbs. Now the herbs, you can do whatever you like. You don't like rosemary, don't put it in there. I like rosemary, I like thyme. These are just classic steak beef flavors, so they complement it really well. You wanna throw in some garlic, you wanna throw in some shallot, whatever you wanna do. If you're throwing in garlic and shallot, you might wanna saute it first, but throw it in there, get crazy. Put whatever flavors you like. I love Worcestershire sauce on beef, so I just put a couple of dashes of that in there. When you're adding a liquid to this, it's kind of, you're gonna have to work a little harder to get it emulsified or to get it combined. So it's just gonna take an extra second. I'm not gonna put salt or pepper in here because that's gonna go directly on my steak. So that's where I'm gonna add that. Just get it mixed around in there so everything is incorporated. So next we're gonna take our butter. This is a cool trick about storing compound butters. Put it here on a piece of plastic wrap. Push it down just a little bit. And then you're gonna roll your plastic wrap, okay? And you're gonna roll up the entire thing. And then you're gonna take the 2 ends and roll it. Push it all into one. Next, we're gonna set this in the fridge. And that way, when it's time to put the compound butter on the steak, we're just gonna take little slices like this. We're gonna coat the steaks with a little bit of avocado oil, nice neutral oil, doesn't matter. It's just gonna act as a binder to help everything stick. I'm gonna season this with a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. I love this seasoning. We have our seasoned steaks. We're gonna use an immersion circulator to cook all these steaks perfectly. We're gonna put these in a vacuum sealed bag. We're then gonna put that vacuum sealed bag in this water bath that is held to a very specific temperature by this immersion circulator. I like the ones from Innova. This is an old model. We're gonna get it to 132 degrees. The reason we're doing that is because I would like them all to be a good medium when we're done after we sear. The thing about sous vide is you're gonna put these in the bag, and when they come out, they're gonna look kind of gray. It's because they've been cooked from the inside out. So then after they're cooked all the way on the inside, we will then sear them on the outside. It's gonna be beautiful. You wanna make sure that you don't put it in the immersion circulator too long. 45 minutes up to about 2 hours is just about perfect. If you get more than that, it's gonna have some weird texture issues. How long do I have to wait? I have to wait 45 whole minutes? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'm just gonna be staring like this. Oh, are you almost done yet? That's how excited I am about this. So let's head to it. So it has been about an hour. We're going to cut open all the bags, and we're going to take a paper towel and dry off all of the steaks so they're ready to sear. I'm gonna add some oil to the top of these steaks. I'm gonna re-season them because sometimes as the juice gets going in those bags, it kind of wipes off the seasoning. We'll add a little bit more, and then we'll get to searing. So let's go. So this is what our steaks look like as they come out of the sous vide. You can see that they're a little bit gray, a little bit pink. We're going to re-season them just because some of the seasoning may have fallen off during the sous vide process, and then we're gonna sear them in a cast iron skillet. And we're only gonna do 3 or 4 at a time, and then we're gonna put them in a warming oven. So I set my oven at 200 degrees, that way it keeps everything warm. And then as they all are finished, we will add our compound butter, let that melt over the top. It'll be perfect and able to serve so many of our guests at the same time. So let's head to the searing process. So we have our seared steaks. I have my compound butter that has been in the refrigerator for a couple hours. It is nice and firm, and we're gonna go ahead and put the compound butter on top and then stick everything in our warming oven. You're just gonna take a slice of this compound butter and put it on each steak. And then as it sits in that warming oven, that little compound butter is going to melt and just season our steak with all the herbs. It's gonna be great. This takes the place of like doing a whole sauce. Again, I'm gonna stick this in the warming oven, and then we're just gonna plate it and be ready to go. It's so easy. Oh my goodness, this is so easy. While we're waiting for the steaks to finish, I wanted to talk a little bit about taking temperatures. When I am doing fillets for a crowd or steaks for a crowd, I like to just say, we're doing everything kind of medium, and then if anyone wants it well done, because you really want it well done, then I will go ahead and, when I'm doing my searing portion, I will add 2 minutes per doneness. So if it starts out at medium and they want it medium well, we're gonna add 2 minutes onto the searing process. If they want it well done, we're gonna add 4 minutes, and we'll flip once in between there. It's not exact, but we'll get it to where we need to go. I cannot wait. The smells in this place are tremendous. I love, oh man, the herbs and everything. I can smell it coming from the oven. Let's break it out. I wanna taste it. Let's go. Let's grab some tongs. I'm gonna grab a steak, and we're gonna cut into this bad boy right here. Now, do I need a knife this big? No, I don't, but I have one, so I'm gonna use it. This is the Butcher Wizard Collection 10-inch breaking knife, and it looks cool. So we're gonna go ahead and just slice right into the middle of this puppy. Oh, look at that. We got a delicious, just slightly lower than medium. Again, we could let it go a little further in the pan, but man, this is just the way that I like it. It is perfect. Oh my goodness. The herb butter, the compound butter really comes through. Let's give it a taste. This is so good. That sous vide has made it perfectly tender throughout the entire steak. You have edge to edge doneness. This really is such a good steak. All we have to do too, spread out all our plates. Boom, everyone gets a steak. It is so easy to cook steak for a large party. When you're doing holidays, I want you to make a steak.